Liverpool 2, Manchester City 0. Final score of the biggest game of the Premier League season this season. Liverpool are now 9 points clear at the top of the table and 11 points ahead of Manchester City, the defending champions from last season. And my overall takeaway from this match is it was kind of a weird match, to be honest with you. Because while I'm not going to say Liverpool weren't good, because they were, in fact, they probably should have won this game 4-0. Manchester City just looked bad. And the overall story of this game was how poor they looked, how they never looked like a team that could actually threaten to win against Liverpool. And when we take a look at the stats, it kind of states the same. Expected goals. Liverpool had 3.57 expected goals to Manchester City's 0.84. Liverpool had 18 shots in total to Manchester City's 8, 7 on target to Manchester City's 2, 5 big chances to Manchester City's 1, and 3 big chances missed to Manchester City's 1. And that one big chance for Manchester City was actually the Kevin De Bruyne chance after Virgil van Dijk made the silly error out of the back, which was really against the run of play because Virgil van Dijk had an excellent game with the exception of that play. But the overall story of this game has to be that Manchester City just do not look like a top team right now. And while defense is definitely their biggest issue right now, they are definitely showing a lot of holes in defense, and especially in the midfield. They're missing Rodri. Now, Rodri's absence can't explain all of this, though. Liverpool had too much time and space and were just able to exploit Manchester City far too often. Not to mention, Liverpool's pressing against City created so many opportunities for Liverpool because Manchester City coughed up the ball in their end of the pitch. Liverpool hit them quickly and got opportunities on goal. Offensively, though, Manchester City looked poor. They looked like they lacked any creativity, and this is one area where I think we might even have to put a little blame on Pep Guardiola and his positional play tactics. Because one of the things I did not see from City was any creativity or willingness to try little short combination passes, especially inside of the field. They always wanted to get the ball to the outside and try to create goal-scoring opportunities from there. And one of the biggest problems with this is Haaland is a passenger for most of the game. He basically just watched the game play out and didn't actually get to participate. And Erling Haaland is one of, if not the best center forwards in the entire world, and to not utilize him in a way that can actually benefit your team is just not a good look. Liverpool, on the other hand, had great combination play, showed great creativity, players moving in and out of positions, and they were fantastic at creating goal-scoring opportunities. Liverpool's biggest problem today is they left their shooting boots at home. I mean, Cody Gakpo put himself in so many opportunities to score a goal. He really probably should have had at least 2 goals himself. Big problem I noticed with him today. He seems to be very favorable to his right foot, and he doesn't really want to use his left foot unless he absolutely has to. Mohamed Salah missed an uncharacteristic 1v1 as well, and Virgil van Dijk was a little bit unlucky to not score one of his 3 headers that almost went in. But that brings us to this guy right here. This is, of course, him after Feyenoord, where he scratched his face into a mess out of pure frustration, and he was really frustrated tonight as well. Liverpool fans were even chanting, "You're getting the sack in the morning." And while I think that's a bit hyperbole and getting a bit ahead of ourselves, what this man has done for Manchester City in the past few years, you're not going to sack him even after a stretch of games like this. However, we've never seen a Pep Guardiola team go through this level of adversity, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does from here, and can he help them turn it around. Now, the one benefit of the doubt I will give him is too many people think the manager is just some magical genius, grand chess master moving around the chess pieces on the field. That's not really how soccer works. The players on the field are what win the game, not the manager. However, the players didn't look good enough to win the game today. And that's something I find very, very interesting is Manchester City obviously has one of the most talented teams in all of world soccer. There's a reason they won so many titles in the past years, and all of these players are considered world class players. So, why are they not getting it done at the moment? Well, there's a few reasons that I can think of, one of which is they seem to lack a strong defensive midfielder in the absence of Rodri, and that is hurting him. Their other midfield players simply cannot play that role. However, on the offensive end, I think one of the issues is they're too static and too uncreative. Too many of their players basically know how to play their roles in this positional system, and not many of them are willing to throw out the script for a moment and try something. The only player who really kind of tried to do a little bit of that was Doku when he came on the wing. He had a few moments and he basically had Trent Alexander-Arnold's number until Trent was subbed out, but the rest of the team basically looked happy to pass the ball in that U shape, which ironically is something that Pep Guardiola absolutely despises. And then they really couldn't do anything else. So, as the Premier League sets up for the rest of the season, Liverpool have to be the favorites to go on and win this. Now, it's too early to say that's going to happen, and Liverpool knows that as well as anyone. Manchester City, frankly, looked to have dug such a big hole. I find it highly unlikely they'll be able to dig their way out of it. Now, as a team and with their money and with the January transfer window, they are one of a very few teams that could potentially dig their way out of this hole. Another question, could Arsenal put themselves in this race? I personally think that Liverpool should be the rightful favorites. I think they're playing great soccer overall. I think Arne Slot has taken Jurgen Klopp's base structure and he's actually made them a better team, which is incredibly impressive. With Manchester City, Pep has to try something new. And one of the things I think he maybe should consider trying new is being a little less rigid with his positional play and maybe encouraging a little bit of relationism. So maybe Pep Guardiola could learn from a Brazilian named Fernando Diniz.